Welcome to another episode. In this presentation, we'll see the difference between the IT services company versus the IT products company. That is basically the difference, the career opportunities, and what to look for in IT product companies. Particularly these days, you find a lot of startups in the IT product company. So what you need to look for prior joining these IT product companies. So first, we need to understand what is a difference that is between IT products and IT services. So we all know, we'll take an analogy, an example, and then it is far more easier to understand. We all know, like for example, we all know the air conditioner, which needs to be, it is used in home or office, and to do install in the home, you need to do fitment, you need to involve some kind of carpentry work or masonry work, and then an electrician will install it and configure it. So that way the aircon is the product, and the fitment, installation, configuration are these services. So now you know, like, what is a product and then what is the services which is done for the product. So taking the same analogy, you can then extend it to the IT products and services also. So IT services is something like they take up projects, and the projects has a definite start date, end date, and of course for some value, that is money. So they quote for the projects with definite start date, end date, scope of work, with consultant to perform the work. So they take up projects, so it is based on a project-based companies are the IT services companies. So this could be an implementation of the product. This could be a ERP product. ERP is enterprise resource planning. You would have heard about SAP or Oracle ERP. So those are ERP. Then analytical tools, the data warehousing tools, or sometimes it could be a web-based custom development also, which will be taken as a project and which will be executed. So IT services company, if you look at it, these are the well-known IT services company in India: TCS, Tata Consultancy Service, Infosys. And Infosys, of all this, Infosys has a product as well for banks. So they do have one product which is for the banking application. Otherwise they get into the mostly 100% of all of them except for Infosys, which has a product. The rest of them are into the IT services sector. So compared to this, if it is in IT products, they make IT products for the world market, and it is not specific to any client. Whereas in the IT services sector, for the client, they do the offer the services. Whereas here, they make product for the world market and not for the specific client. So these are the list of companies, like you will see Google, Oracle, then you have Microsoft, then IBM. Yes, if you look at it, some of them, IBM or Oracle, they will have their own services also for implementation. Even Microsoft, for their implementation, they will have perform their IT services also, but they do have the products as well. But majority of them are products. For Oracle, their revenue, if you look at it, 95% is on the products, maybe less than 5% is on the services. Similarly for Microsoft. Similarly, this could be for IBM as well. So these are the product-based company, and though they have some services as well. So if you ask me, I mean, India earlier, let's look at prior 2010, it was only IT services as far as Indian companies are concerned. And what is interesting was the product companies. Yes, we had Oracle, we had Microsoft, IBM, those days, product based company, only those were there. But Indian based IT products was never heard of. But post 2010, We are hearing about a lot of product companies in even the Indian market. The pioneers is of course the Zoho. You would have heard about Zoho. So this is after 2010. The reason is the venture capital funding was easily available post 2010, which means they make investment in the companies so that the companies can scale up the production of the products. So post 2010, we are hearing lot many more IT product companies in India. As I said, Zoho, or it could be Freshworks, and many of them are there in the market as of now. So this is the kind of a small list of Indian-based IT product company. So now, which one to choose and what are the advantages, disadvantage? So that we'll see. If you look at the number of openings and job per year is far less compared to IT services. I mean, the IT product company, number of openings, jobs per year is less compared to IT services, whereas IT services, they recruit in lakhs every year. So that's where I mean, the opportunities are far less in the IT products, and more aggressive skill test. Like some of the companies like Amazon, Google's have 7 rounds of various type of testing and interviews, whereas with the IT services it's just about maximum of 3 to 4 rounds, whereas IT products can go up to 7 rounds. So that, I mean, it's aggressive skill test and better pay is there. But as I said, post 2010 there are so many IT product companies, Indian based IT product companies, so particularly in the startup segment. So how do we choose? I mean, they are also doing the Indian IT product companies are also doing good. The pay scale is much better, even comparable for based on US based IT product companies. So their pay structure is very good. So how do we choose? I mean, let's assume like if you're able to pass the skill test. So what is that you need to look for in that IT product company before joining it? The first one is study how many years of operation. Most of them you'll find 4 to 5 years, not more than that. Some of them, yes, could be about max of 10 years, 4 to 5 years. The next one is funding pattern. Look at the funding pattern. Yes, there are sites wherein they provide you with the funding pattern. So whether they are venture capital funded, which means they do have solid cash base to provide the better pay. So look at the funding pattern, and some of them might be on their own funding. Zoho is a typical example. They have not gone into a venture capital at all. So maybe, yes, it has its own advantages, disadvantage, but look at the funding pattern. At least if they have venture capital funding, it is better. And the product position, like whether how is the product. This one is of course little difficult, product position and demand, particularly if you are fresher or few years of experience, it is difficult. But look at the reputation of the company. I mean, have they done any kind of excessive recruitment, any layoffs or happen? But even that is becoming challenging these days. Even the best of the best companies like Google, Amazon has laid off in thousands in 2022, late 2022, 23. But having said that, yes, I would still say IT product company are much better compared to IT services company. So the IT services is much more matured. It has reached the saturation level. If you had asked me around 2000 or 2005, IT services company was doing very well. But now, yes, we have seeing a shift after 2010, more IT product company. So if you have the better skills, yes, I would suggest, yes, you could opt for the IT products companies, but still these challenges of layoffs happening has become common with the IT products company as well in the 2022 and 23 as well. So I hope you found this presentation useful. Do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.